Hey guys, it's Tim Michael with TimMichaelArts.com. Thank you very much for joining me on this video on how to draw Webcomics Part 2. And this video today we're going to cover a bit of color technique, a bit of masking technique, a bit of shading technique, and of course writing technique. And so I'm starting off here doing the color, and I learned a new little trick that I wanted to show you. If you've ever watched my video in masking, you saw that I would do a black fill on a masking layer and then color it with white to open up the layer, and then I'd put in my color tone for what the main color would be. If you already know what your base tone is that you're going to use on the face, what I would suggest you do, now that I understand masking a little bit better, go ahead and paint it in as you usually would. Make sure to stay in the lines as best you can. And then once you're done painting it in, get your magic wand tool and select those colored areas. And then once you got those fully selected, if there's more than one area, you hold down Shift and go select the other areas. But once you do that, you can just hit the mask button in the layers option and it creates the mask for you automatically, which is much faster than the way that I suggested in my other how to do masking videos. So make sure that you give that a shot. It's a lot faster if you know your base tones. If you're going to be a comic artist, you want to make sure that you have your design set of different characters that you're going to use. I can show you that some other time in another video if you guys want. Just leave a comment and ask me, let me see the characters, and I'll show you the characters. I have a separate file where I have each character saved with their color tones that they use and their shades and a lot of cool little things. It's good to have a separate file where you have several different layers with several different characters. That way you can always have the same colors for each character every single time. As you see here, I just copied the coloring layer and I moved it over to the other frame, and in this frame now I'm going to size it up, make sure it fits okay, clean up some areas, fill in the blue, and then go in with a mask layer and open that area up so that I could show that full blue. And it's just more basic coloring here. Now here's a neat little trick. If you look under the toolbar menu on the left hand side, you'll see that there's that little square with the circle in it. If you hit that, it turns on your masking paint, and you can paint normally, but it makes a mask instead of actual paint. And then what I did was, once I had that selected, I turned that off and it selected that area, and then I was able to make a gradient to put in there. And that's why that looks so cool, and I can make, motion effects and things of that nature just by doing that selection. Here's a little cheap shading that I did to kind of pull out some metal effects. I'm not very good at metal. I'm still working on that, but I thought that would look kind of cool. And that's the iZod, or the iZad, instead of the iPad. That way we don't have to worry about legal reasons. Okay, now it's time to start up the shading. I only use 3 values when I shade in comics. I use the base tone, shade tone, and then a highlight tone. And that's all I do. And I usually don't shade the hair, except in Gizmo's case. Gizmo's the guy with the red hair, or orange hair. I love how we get that mixed up. In orange, we call that red. But if you take a look, I will shade his hair with some yellow, just because that was how I designed him originally as one of my characters, and I enjoy giving him that little yellow highlight in his hair. But for Mr. Lee, I keep his hair a standard color. I try to go for a gray-black, that way the outlines still show behind the hair, so you get all his spikes. Alright, going in with a highlight now, and basically the idea is just hit the generic areas where the sun would be hitting their face. I always shoot my sun, I always put it in the top left corner, so anything coming down that's on the right side will be the area that you'll shade dark. Any area on the left side is what you're going to shade light. Now I'm just putting in my text. I make separate text bubbles other than the text bubbles that are already designed, because I want to control the text a little bit more. If I actually put the text in the bubble decides where they go, and I don't like that. I would prefer to have more control. So what I do is I make that a separate text layer. That way I can set that apart. I'm putting in my background. I'm not very good at backgrounds, so I do a lot of gradient layers. And basically I've just taken the selection tool, selected one frame, and I'm just copying and pasting over. And then want to make sure that we get his teeth a white color, because Mr. Lee, he's got clean teeth. Especially since he's designed after me. That's my character. So I want to make sure that Mr. Lee's as clean as he's going to look. Alright, just changing up the gradient layer there. Now here's a neat little trick. Using that masking tool, what I did there was I created an airbrush, and I just did a splurt of airbrush right there, and then I set a gradient tone there so I could get that effect. And that's the end of this tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed that. Actually, it's more of a highlight walkthrough, but you can check out my website, timmichaelarts.com, to see this webcomic and many others, also caricatures and t-shirts. God bless you guys. See you later.